Hello everyone, I am Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. This time we are reacting once again to Brett Cooper. It just occurred to me, it's very rare for me to see a lady with a man's name, with a male name. Not very often I run into that. But this video we're reacting to is Fitness is Fatphobic, apparently. I've seen people complain. I've seen the, body positivity movement complain that fitness and eating healthy is apparently fatphobic. I hate these people who have taken over the body positivity movement. It's a complete joke at this point. Well, let's see what this video is about.
Welcome back to the comments section. I'm Brett Cooper. I'm sure we all know those claims about working out that are going around social media and have been for the last year or so. I've done a couple of episodes about these, but if you go to the gym, you are apparently fat phobic. If you care about your figure, then you also hate fat people. If you enjoy gym culture and working out, you are most likely a scary alt-right person, or you are being indoctrinated by one of those crazy conservatives that cares about their health. God forbid. We're going to talk about another layer of these ridiculous claims. Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this.
God forbid that you care, about living longer and, not dying from being overweight. God forbid.
Channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. Okay, so everything that I just said is 100% true. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but those are things that people actually believe. Like, this is from MSNBC. Pandemic fitness trends have gone extreme. Literally, white supremacists' latest scheme to valorize violence and hypermasculinity is gone digital. I have an entire episode about this thing. You guys can go watch it. We can link it below. Another one, this study linking gym bros to right-wing beliefs is legit. And then, of course, we have people making videos like this. And every time I sort of talk about this subject, I go on TikTok, and I'm always worried that I'm just going to find the same videos. But there's always more, because they're always making more of these.
Anti-fat. That includes being thin. That includes gaining muscle so you can look toned and have less fat on your body. So
that includes, caring about your health, caring that you don't die of any sort of disease that relates to you being overweight, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, if you work out strictly for appearance-based reasons, you are fat phobic.
They're all so angry. All of them. They all look just miserable and upset. Here we go.
I'm not fat phobic. I just don't want to be fat. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. You just not wanting to be fat is not being fat phobic. You not wanting to be fat is you wanting to be healthy.
No, seriously, I have no problem with fat people. I think they're beautiful. I'm all for body positivity or whatever. I just don't want to be fat. Actively not wanting to be fat is fat phobia. And therefore, you're fat phobic.
Again, there are so...
That makes no logical sense whatsoever. It really does not. There is no logical argument for any of that.
Many of these videos. Here's the last one.
When people are fat phobic on this platform, you should be uncomfortable.
I am a fat person myself. I am a big man. I haven't weighed myself in quite a while, so I think I'm probably somewhere between 295 and 300. I'm a big dude. I am fat. And I don't think people who are wanting to be, thinner or more fit, want to eat healthier, I don't think they're fat phobic. I just don't think they don't want to be fat. I don't want to be fat either, but I'm a lazy son of a bitch. I like food and pop too much. I mean, it sucks being fat. It really does. It sucks. Don't do it. Get up and exercise. Don't drink, well, you can drink pop, but drink it like maybe a cup of it every once in a while. Just make sure you drink water too, because your teeth will go bad. Brush your teeth and drink water if you're going to drink pop.
You should be uncomfortable.
Okay. I am uncomfortable.
You should be uncomfortable with fat people if they're trying to if they're on the plane and you're squished in with them, and then they complain at you because apparently them being fat is not their problem, it's your problem.
It is irresponsible to come on an app where there are vulnerable young people.
You know, it's also really irresponsible around young people to be overweight and glorifying obesity. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. That's also not great to show vulnerable young people screaming in their faces about how if they want to work out and be healthy, then they are actively being fatphobic. That also could be problematic.
It is very problematic. You're telling a young generation who are easily... They're basically sponges. You're telling them that it's okay to be fat. It's okay to be unhealthy. It's okay to not care about your health. That if you're fat, it's not your fault. It's society's fault. It's not the fault of your choices. It's the fault of everyone else around you. And it's, you know, for a certain amount of time growing up, it is your parents' responsibility to make sure you are eating healthy and you are being taken care of. Once you get old enough to the point where you can make your own decisions and, you know, physically, you know, start taking care of yourself and deciding what you put down your fucking throat, then it is up to you, up to your choices to whether or not you want to be healthy. Now, if you decide to do what I do, you know, eat very unhealthy and be lazy and drink fucking pop every goddamn day, then it is no fault of anyone else's but your own that you have turned out to be a fucking whale. Being fat should not be anywhere near body positivity. There's nothing positive about being fat. There's nothing positive about being obese, overweight, and being very unhealthy. Make arguments all you want. There is no factual reason. There is no factual evidence to say that being fat is healthy. None whatsoever fucking ever. This is coming from a fat person.
For impressionable young minds. Now, 9 times out of 10, I can blow off these claims as ridiculous and we get to laugh about them because, oh my God, look at that stupid Vice article. Oh my God, what is MSNBC doing today? This ridiculous TikToker. Ha, this is so funny. But then I see articles like this. Author claims that the desire to be skinny promotes white supremacy and the patriarchy. Like, they are writing legitimate books about this. This is not just some TikTok fad. This
is also what gets me. Is I've seen people who have tried to link wanting to be healthy with systemic racism, with white supremacy, with patriarchy, with being oppressive, and people writing books about this, and I don't understand how any logical thinking person could let these books be published and not tell these people how stupid they're being. Like, how can you think this is right? Where is the factual science that helps prove what you're saying when none of it is linked in any way whatsoever? I mean, if you want to go ahead and be wrong and crazy and stupid, go right ahead, but stop dragging everyone else into your little fucking delusional fantasy.
This is what academics believe. Somebody commented and said she has to justify all those donuts somehow.
Why'd you go on a diet?
Because I like to eat. Is that such a crime?
Somebody else said, love me some ladies on the white supremacist diet. Guys, the fatter you are, the less white supremacist you can be. The more of an ally you are, so let's just all keep on eating. Let's just indulge in some excerpts from this article. Author Virginia Soul Smith told NPR's Fresh Air podcast that the United States society's desire to be skinny and adversity to fatness can be traced to the end of American slavery as a way of preserving out-of-touch white beauty standards. Quote,
I think a lot of these people keep pressing these things and perpetuating these things about racism because if racism and all this stuff disappears, they have nothing to bitch and moan about. It's like these people they have a strong need and desire to bitch and moan about something. So they find something to link to racism in order to bitch and moan about it, to, keep racism and that stuff alive. Morgan Freeman said this before. The best way to stop racism is to stop fucking talking about it. If everybody stopped talking about racism and stopped trying to bring racism up in stuff where it clearly isn't, it probably in a few generations, racism would disappear. People would stop seeing color and just see a person for who they are and not what's on their skin. But yet we have people always bringing up racism, and it's fucking stupid.
The thin ideal is definitely a white ideal. When we trace the history of modern diet culture, we really trace it back to the United States as the end of slavery, Soul Smith told the host, while promoting her new book, Fat Talk, Parenting in the Age of Diet Culture. Parents, do not buy this freaking book. You might think, ooh, this book could be interesting, trying to combat childhood obesity. Maybe I need to pick this up. Do not be tempted. Also, a little reminder, this is just a classic case of a white liberal trying to get progressive brownie points. She is white. And honestly, she's kind of being backhandedly racist by saying that being fat is a black thing, that being thin is a white thing.
That's pretty racist.
Does that sit well with anybody? No, I don't think it is. No. Also, I went to her website to get more information about her and the book, and this is the current homepage. Again, this is why, parents, you should not buy this book or anything like it. Fat Talk, Parenting in the Age of Diet Culture. An explosion of the myth of the childhood obesity epidemic. Fat Talk gives parents and anyone with a body strategies for unlearning our biases and raising kids in a fat-phobic world.
Childhood obesity being a myth. Yeah, that's just factually not true. Childhood obesity is not a myth. It is an actual thing. There are a lot of kids who are at a weight that they really should not be at for their age. There are kids who are under 10 years old who are well over 150 pounds when they really should not be that freaking heavy. There are kids who are between 5 and 10 who look like the Pillsbury Doughboy or the tire guy, the Michelin tire mascot. Kids should not look like that. And it's very, very concerning that there are parents who think that it's okay for kids to be that big, that it's no fault of anybody but society for them being that big, when it's clearly the parents' fault for letting their kid get that fucking fat.
Okay, what about childhood obesity is a myth? Those are the facts. I mean, here's an article about it. Pulled this up in 3 seconds. Obesity rates continue to climb among U.S. kids and teens. They are literally prescribing children meds now to lose weight because children in America are so fat.
Fat guy in a little coat.
That is not a myth.
Fat guy in a little... it is sad that he died at the age he did. He was such a great guy. The first time I think I ever saw him was probably in his movie with Chris Rock and Beverly Hills Ninja.
Scientists and doctors saying children are overwhelmingly overweight is not fat phobia. And the way to address that is not fixing and unlearning your fat phobic biases. The way to fix it is getting your kids off your phones, making them go outside and play, and stop making 90% of their diet processed sugar and crap. That's the way to fix it. She's not trying to fix childhood obesity. She's literally trying to make kids fatter by unlearning biases. That's absurd. How is this a legitimate book? But anyway, now that you know more of what we've gotten ourselves into...
there are some people who are okay with burning books. If you want to burn books, burn dumbass books like that. That, make it seem like it's okay to be fat and shit like that. Burn those books. Those are a detriment to society. You want to improve society? Get rid of shit like that.
Let's move on. She also says, obviously, white supremacy is trying to maintain the power structure. So celebrating a thin white body as the ideal body is a way to other and demonize black and brown bodies, bigger bodies, and anyone who doesn't fit into that norm. So this is really about maintaining systems of white supremacy and patriarchy. If you can understand that actually, by continuing to pursue thinness, you are in some level maintaining your complicity with white supremacy and the patriarchy. So not only are you fat phobic if you work out, but you are also a racist. Because in order to be an ally, you have to be fat. Because if you're thin, you're upholding some system of power. I think the only system of power that you're upholding is being able to rely on your body and be healthy and be a empowered individual.
People love to take the path of least resistance. And when it comes to this sort of thing, being fat and lazy and unhealthy is the path of least resistance. Because if you decide to go the path with the most resistance, you'd become, a fitter and healthier person. People these days are just lazy, and they make any excuse they can and any argument they can to justify the path of least resistance. So they can keep on with their Jabba the Hutt-like life. It's horrible that there are people who think it's okay to be fat and unhealthy. I mean, look at somebody like the Fat Doctor. It's amazing she has a medical license at all, considering she's telling people it's okay to be fat.
But apparently that's the worst thing in the world these days. This is basically an author just regurgitating terrible TikTok takes, but we are seeing this as legitimate because it's in a real book. Like, just listen, these are the same things that this author is saying. There's another book about it.
How is fatphobia linked to white supremacy? Congratulations, class. That's a great question. If you want to learn more, then...
No, it's not a great question. It's a stupid fucking question. Listen, if you want to be healthier, if you want to eat healthier, work out, increase your stamina, increase your strength, get a healthier body, I encourage you with all that I am, please go and do it. You will live a healthier and happier life. I've said it multiple times in this video already. I am a very unhealthy person. I am nearly 300, if not over 300 pounds. I have a hard time. My sleeping pattern is all sorts of fucked up. If you're overweight and unhealthy, you have a harder time sleeping. Your breathing is more I can't find the word for it. You have a harder time breathing. You are not as flexible. You are not as fit. I can barely run 10 fucking feet at a sprint before getting winded. I can barely walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded. This sort of the point that hit me the most was that when I'm sitting down in my chair and I go to put on a pair of shoes, my legs push my stomach into my fucking chest, and I have a very hard time breathing just trying to tie my fucking shoes. And I got to a point where that was happening, and I started crying because of how I felt at that point. I thought to myself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? How could I let myself get to this point? And throughout the time, I just became okay with it, which is just not okay at all. Fat phobia, white supremacy, linking any of it, it's fucking stupid. Don't believe any of it. It's all stupid. There's no such thing as fat phobia. There's no such thing as it being linked to of you wanting to be healthier being linked to white supremacy or racism. Like I've said before, people are just creating this shit just to have something to fucking complain about. Don't believe in it. If you want to be lazy and be unhealthy and don't want to work out, go right ahead. It's your choice. If you want to eat healthier, be more active and stuff, I highly encourage it. I really do. Be a healthier person, live a happier life, live a longer life, and just be a better version of yourself. That's all there is.
And what I mentioned here today, please read this book. Fat phobia, like most social phobias, is ultimately the cause of systemic oppression. Fat bodies have been racialized since, you guessed it, slavery. Fat phobia stems from an Enlightenment era belief that fatness is actually linked to savagery and racial inferiority, which has then subsequently been used to subjugate black bodies into slave labor, exploitation, fetishization, and sexualization. Slave masters used the fatness found in black female bodies as an excuse to say, those women are deserving of rape, but you, your slender self, you're not. Since abolition, the U.S. government has tried to pin the obesity epidemic and all comorbid diseases like heart disease and diabetes on blackness and on the black population.
They didn't link it to blackness or the black population or anything. Obesity is linked to heart problems and, a lot of healthcare stuff because a lot of that stuff stems from being overweight, from being very unhealthy. Heart attacks, any sort of heart disease, your joints and a lot of other diseases and stuff can stem from obesity and living a very unhealthy life. You want to be a healthier person and stay away from a lot of these things, start working out and eating healthier and drinking healthier.
As a way to say our healthcare system is overwhelmed by those people, and those are your tax-paying dollars. Fat phobia, white supremacy. There you have it.
What is... That literally did not mean anything at all. You were just pulling random social justice warrior words out of thin air in order to make your argument as intersectional and victimized as possible. Also, it's very odd because if we're going to bring history into this, for most of history, people that were a little more overweight were seen as, beautiful and powerful and wealthy. I mean, think about those Renaissance paintings. Those women were not tiny and skinny. Like, that's a new thing that we're doing.
Yeah, a lot back in like the medieval era, the Renaissance era, those times of yore, if you want to say, a lot of the bigger people were seen as beautiful and they were sought after because they were shown that they had money and wealth, that they were well fed and everything, and that's why they were sought as more beautiful, because they had money, they had power, they had food. In a time where not everybody was, that was not available to everybody. A lot of people were very malnourished back then, whereas the wealthy were able to eat in plentiful amounts. So they were seen as beautiful. And they were seen as good potential mates because of how healthy they seemed.
And yet you're claiming that black people being fat was a part of your oppression. Like, it just does not make sense. Here's another one.
Hi, this is your reminder that fat phobia and weight stigma are rooted in white supremacy and sexism. In the 1800s, the idea of social Darwinism became popular, essentially
another thing, if being... let me think of a way to put this. This might not sound very nice, but you have, like, if you're looking for a partner, you have a better chance of finding a potential long-term partner if you are healthier, because biologically we look like, if we're looking for somebody to have kids with, we are biologically more inclined to look for somebody that looks fit and healthy, because we see them as somebody who will give us, healthy kids. So you have also a better chance to finding a mate, so to speak, if you are a healthier and fitter person. Whereas if you are a more unhealthy person, let's say like me, you have a harder time being able to find said mate in order to either have a long-term relationship with, get married, and possibly have kids. Because I would be seen as somebody who would possibly not be able to give healthy children to. Whereas somebody who is, if I was more of a fit person, I'd have a better chance because, for that reason. It's, at the biological standpoint, that's how it is.
Creating hierarchies of different kinds of people. This work was mainly done by white Northern European men who wanted to prove that white Northern European men were the best kinds of people. So they began to fixate on traits that belonged to people who they thought were lesser kinds of people, so people of color, particularly women of color. They observed that women of color, particularly black women, tended to weigh more. So they perpetuated the idea that it's better to be thin because thinness is closer to whiteness and masculinity. This isn't something...
Thinness and being fit is more close to somebody who is a better suitor than somebody who isn't. Doesn't matter their skin color. It just doesn't. White supremacy, my ass. That doesn't even exist in society.
Thing that I'm making up. This is stuff that is quite literally in the science of the time period. Yet we constantly perpetuate these ideas.
Everything about that annoyed me. Everything. It was like nails on a chalkboard. I don't even know where to begin with that. Like, I don't care about... God. In today's world, we know that being healthy, that working out, that going to the gym, that not being morbidly obese is healthy. That is objectively better for you. I don't care about any of your social arguments you're going to make about history or any of that crap. You can concern yourself with that on your own time. Based on the facts, the science, TM, we know that there is one way that you can for sure be a lot healthier, and it's losing weight. Like, that's not some new information. But back to the article. Soulsmith also argued that fat people experience a similar form of stigma as those who live under the thumb of racism or other forms of bias. The author said that society's disgust of fat people results in daily implicit bias or outright prejudice. Quote, this raises your stress levels and has you in a constant state of fight or flight, and stress hormones are elevated. That takes a toll on our bodies. This is how we ask that people move through the world, always on guard, knowing that they may be ridiculed, shamed, stigmatized. That takes a toll on our mental health and our physical health. Okay, you know what also takes a toll on your mental and physical health? Being incredibly overweight. It's a harsh truth, but that is reality. So if your mental and physical health is a serious concern for you, and this author is obviously saying that it is.
Another factor that feeds into you increasing your weight is stress, is your mental health. You have to learn to not associate yourself with things that you know create stress on yourself. The more stressed you are, along with your other unhealthy habits, will inevitably lead to you gaining weight and being more unhealthy. So another thing you have to do along with your physical health is improve your mental health. If you can improve both, you will see a vast improvement in your health.
Because you wouldn't be making that argument if it wasn't, then maybe you should start with losing some weight. It's just a thought. Maybe you could focus on your physical health if you care so much about your physical and your mental health. I mean, like I showed you all, this is literally the crap that we hear on TikTok on a daily basis. But now it's coming in the form of this parenting book, which inherently makes it more legitimate and credible, especially because it's being published by Henry Holt & Co., which is one of the oldest and most well-respected American publishers. They are publishing crap like this. This is not fringe. It's not just crazy teenagers on TikTok. These are academics peddling this. They want us to be fat and lazy and compliant, and they have somehow indoctrinated a whole part of the population to be the champions of that. Like, it's wrong, objectively. We should be striving to be healthy, to always be bettering ourselves, to be independent, to be able to rely on your body, which is a lot easier to do when you are in shape. That is real empowerment, not any of that crap. Okay, that was fun. And
yep. She's not wrong in anything she said. She's not wrong. She's completely right. I mean, if you truly want to live a better life and have a better version of yourself, always strive to improve. Eat healthier, drink healthier, be more physically active. Find things that you know will improve your mental health that don't cause you as much stress. If you can improve your life in both physically and physicality and mentality, you will find yourself vastly improving in your life. So I highly encourage anyone who watches this to please find ways to improve yourself. We need to improve ourselves and those around us. So I highly recommend you do so. So please, don't feel down on yourself. Don't buy into this fat phobic dumb bullshit, and just do things that you know will improve your life both physically and mentally, and possibly emotionally as well. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please make sure to go check out my Twitch, TikTok, and come join me on Discord. My Discord. Help me improve my community. I hope you all, if there are any other videos you'd like to see me react to, please make sure to comment them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.